In Azerbaijan, renewal is never an act of starting from emptiness. Here, what is created anew honors all that came before, evolving legacy into something greater each time. Perfectly attuned to the present and poised for what lies ahead. Each new chapter preserves an inheritance, love of country, reverence for memory, and steadfast capacity to overcome. What appears to be lost is merely the assembling of what has survived to rise even higher than ever before. Nowhere is this truth more powerfully expressed than in a saga played out in a football field. A team displaced from its city, with memory as its only stadium. Known as a refugee club, players and fans bore the weight of exile, surviving war, invasion, displacement, and financial ruin. Yet, none of it meant the end. They didn't perish. Instead, they built the impossible. Driven by an unwavering refusal to fade into oblivion, they are called the Horsemen. Carriers of the cadence of courage innate to the stallions of the same soil that gave them life, they rose to heights no neighboring team had ever reached, making it to the Champions League playoffs. These horsemen are forged from the clay of a city that, like them, refuses to be erased. A city tested on the brink of destruction, the embodiment of a nation's resourcefulness, exceptionality, and distinctive beauty. Its splendor stirred so much envy in those who sought to destroy it. It was brought to ruins just for symbolizing what its slayer could never achieve. A place called by the world a ghost town. But what some dismiss as ghost is in fact unshakable spirit. After all, this is the birthplace of the most indomitable, ingenious, and culturally vibrant of all khanates, and the heart of Karabakh, Ağdam, Azerbaijan. A crossroads that anchored the region's spirit, Ağdam gave substance to the rise of the Karabakh Khanate. Its grounds fed the region, its roads connected and bound together the territory, and its markets moved the world around it. A capital where life unfolded with quiet abundance, interrupted by barbaric destruction that tried to render the city uninhabitable and unwelcome to its own people. But that design failed, because this is Ağdam, a soil that gives life to kingdoms. And when you are the cradle and the pulse of Karabakh, home is not defined by what is lost, but by what your heart still beats for. Just a few years ago, these lands carried a very different meaning on the world map. For this nation, it was still marked by the incommunicable experience of the displacement of its people. 3 decades earlier, the meaning was entirely different. A thriving city of nearly 30,000 residents that posed as an economic and cultural center in the region. 3 centuries earlier, this is where the Karabakh Khanate was born. Around this area, where the mountains of the Lesser Caucasus give way to the open expanse of the lowlands between the Kura and Araz rivers. Now, after years of senseless destruction, Ağdam rises again, and rises as a place of peace, of safety, a place of renewed hope that leads to tangible achievements, and poised to reclaim its role as a strategic core, economically, geopolitically, and culturally. The efforts are nothing short of extraordinary. The rebuilding from ground up of massive infrastructure, from roads and railways to communication networks, to fully equipped residential complexes, modern schools and healthcare facilities. From a state-of-the-art industrial park to smart governance in urban planning, mobility and agriculture, all designed to shape a city ready for the future. Nearby, the Zangezur corridor will once again turn the region into a hub of connectivity, reshaping economic realities for Ağdam and for Karabakh, for Azerbaijan, and beyond. The heart of Karabakh is now revived. According to the city's master plan, Ağdam is being rebuilt to welcome over 100,000 residents, and when that happens, Ağdam will become the fourth largest city in Azerbaijan. Ağdam's history has always been defined by strength, resilience, and excellence. And its return into the nation's fabric has united generations through pride, passion, and purpose. It's a beautiful phenomenon to witness, and it's a recipe impossible to beat. Archaeological research in Ağdam's territory has revealed this land holds some of the earliest chapters of human settlement in the Caucasus. Excavations in the area uncovered traces of life 8,000 years old, showing evidence of a community of farmers and builders, well-versed in ancient agriculture and animal husbandry. And the Utserliktapa archaeological site showcases one of the oldest urban-type layouts in the entire Caucasus, with significant layers from the Middle Bronze Age. One of Azerbaijan's most important monuments of memorial architecture from the early 14th century is the Kutlu Musa tomb. Unique among the tower-shaped tombs, it stands out for its inventive approach to traditional structural design. Regarded as a shrine in the region, it is a testament to Ağdam's architectural heritage and one of the city's most iconic landmarks. In the mid-18th century, following the fall of the Afsharid Empire, the territory of present-day Azerbaijan was divided into independent khanates, among them the Karabakh Khanate, founded by a prominent commander of the Javanshir clan, Panahali Khan Javanshir. He established Ağdam as a political and administrative center and commissioned his home and dynastic burial ground in the heart of the region, the Imarad complex, one of the very first states of the Han dynasty. The complex comprises of the Han's mansion and the guest house, alongside the Imarad cemetery, that houses the mausoleums of all three Hans of Karabakh and their descendants, including Hushibanu Natavan, the celebrated poetess and daughter of the last Khan of Karabakh. Following decades of looting and destruction during the occupation of Ağdam, the Imarad complex has been restored, standing once again as a symbol of the Javanshir dynasty's enduring legacy and the Khanate's cultural heritage. 14 kilometers from the Imarad complex stands another symbol of the Karabakh Khanate's authority, the Shabulakh fortress. Built between 1751 and 52 on the orders of Panahali Khan, it served as the second residential and governmental center of the Khanate, offering superior defenses and abundant water supply from nearby springs. Shabulakh's design was a major achievement in Karabakh's architectural evolution, blending defensive needs with essential residential, commercial, and religious structures requirements. It later influenced every major architectural development in the future capital of Shusha, becoming a pioneering example of architectural planning in the region. The 19th century saw Ağdam evolve from a feudal state, gaining city status in 1828. By the early 20th century, it had become the center of the Ağdam district and one of Azerbaijan's most prosperous cities, developing into a major industrial, commercial, and agricultural power. The city was served by an airport and 2 railway stations, an affirmation of its role as a regional transport hub. And Ağdam has always been a center of culture and education, home to medical, agricultural, technical, and musical schools, and institutions such as the Ağdam State Drama Theater, the Ağdam Muham Music Institute, and the unique Bread Museum, a tribute to tradition and shared identity. The first missile was thrown at the Bread Museum. More than an act of structural destruction, it was an assault on cultural values. In Azerbaijan, bread holds a sacred meaning, and that was a strike against the shared nourishment of a people and their culture. Such destruction continued, systematically devastating Ağdam, bringing all buildings to the ground, except for one. One magnificent, divinely stubborn structure remained standing. Built between 1868 and 1870, the Ağdam Juma Mosque is one of the seminal works of Karbala Safikan Karabahi, standing as a remarkable testament to his genius as one of Azerbaijan's most influential architects. A quintessential example of the Karabakh architectural style, it features a 4-column square plan with 2 brick minarets, a 2-story gallery with stone columns, and domed ceilings. Above the entrance, a Quranic inscription reads, Nafatna laha fatah mubina. We have granted you a clear victory. A phrase prophetically chosen by Karabahi back in the 19th century, more than 150 years before Ağdam was liberated by the Azerbaijani army without a single shot fired. The reconstruction and restoration of this 8,000-year history requires a once-in-a-generation kind of leadership. This monumental task rests in the capable hands, mind and shoulders of a leader who echoes the great viziers and advisors to the commanders-in-chief of Karabakh's past. Just as Fazlali Bey served Panahali Khan and Molla Panavagif advised Ibrahim Halil Khan, Ağdam's future is entrusted to the wisdom and stewardship of the Honorable Emin Huseynov, special representative of the President of Azerbaijan to Ağdam, Fuzuli and Khojaland.
Azerbaijan has made great efforts in terms of restoring all social, economic infrastructure of the liberated territories, and Ağdam is not exception to this. And Ağdam has seen a very large-scale reconstruction from a completely vandalized city. Now when we enter the city, we can see the contours of the city with the internal roads being constructed, a number of residential complexes, the most important historical monuments, provide you with the vision of how it's going to look like, and it will come back to life again, and will once again it will become a regional business, trade, agriculture, manufacturing center in Azerbaijan. A new master plan was put together by a group of architects from different countries. Also, the cultural heritage of Ağdam is very important. So the master plan really was designed to kind of integrate the rich historical memory of Ağdam with the contemporary principles of urban planning. One is a lot of straight lines. Also, you have a lot of circular roads. This is inner city roads that are all connected, all the straight lines that provides a clear mapping of different functionality zones. You have public zone, you have social zone, you have residential complexes, you have industrial zone, business areas, and of course, you have an administrative center which is concentrated in just one place in the city, It's a one-stop shop for all public services to be delivered. You have social infrastructure like schools, kindergartens, healthcare facilities that are mapped throughout the city in such a way that would be in walking distance for the residents. So like every 300, 500 meters, you can get to another school or a hospital or a kindergarten, sports facility. Then also you have a separate area for business community. And that is the industrial park, the business zone, with the idea to bring the fame of Ağdam back, of being the most important trade centers, famous Ağdam market. Everyone knows about this. Not only in Azerbaijan, but in South Caucasus, people used to come to Ağdam market from, Georgia, Armenia, from different parts of Azerbaijan, because you could find literally everything in that market. And that just goes to show how entrepreneurial were the people of Ağdam. Yet another important element of smart infrastructure, you can see wide streets here. 60 meters wide, 55 meters wide street. There are like few cities in the world that has this wide streets. Another element of smart city that we can see is all communication lines will go underground. Electric cables, communication cables, all meters, everything will be underground. Yet another element would be the traffic management. Since the master plan was designed with a lot of straight lines and circular roads, then the traffic will be easily managed. That will make it punctual as well as efficient. That will also provide for smart governance of the city. We already have completed the second residential complex in Ağdam. At present, people are being resettled to this complex. There are in total 1,268 apartments in this one residential complex. Makes it between 4,000 and 5,000 people. We are set to build 4 more complexes like this in Ağdam. So in Ağdam alone, we will have around 15,000 people already residing by the end of 26, and then another 10,000 people in 27. I have every reason to believe that this is probably going to be much beyond 100,000 by 2040. We have been receiving different delegations, travelers, tourists from all over the world in the past 5 years. And I think the story of Ağdam is getting more and more widely spread out. The story of Karabakh Football Club, the first captain, later the coach of the Karabakh team, Alaverdi Bagirov, fell heroically during the first Karabakh War. He is a national hero of Azerbaijan. And of course, this team kept playing in exile for 30 years. Now they're back. Now they're back in their home soil, and they will keep playing in their stadium, which will be built by the end of 27. The construction phase is about to start. I can't express how I feel. It's just you have to feel it, I mean, it's been 5 years now. I feel the same joy and happiness and honor that I felt the first day. I mean, 5 years passed, but every single day I go out there with our team of committed, young, patriotic men and women with the idea of rebuilding Karabakh to honor the sacrifices we made for this land. More than 6,000 martyrs fell during the First Karabakh War, and we have another 3,000 heroes that actually gave their lives for us to be able to walk on that land. Me and my team, we are doing everything not to let our president down, not to let our people down, not to let Ağdamis down, to see the Ağdam back in life, very much prospering, flourishing. It's a special feeling.
A powerful example of Azerbaijan breathing new life into its legacy is the Ağdam Industrial Park. A vital element of Ağdam's economic resurgence, the institution is already a protagonist in revitalizing and further developing all the liberated territories, tapping into Karabakh's manufacturing potential and fostering competitive production while driving employment growth in the region. To understand the true scope of the park's transformative impact on Ağdam's economic landscape, we turn to the man who is behind its success, Mr. Ahil Azizov, Deputy Chairman of the Azerbaijan Economic Zone Development Agency.
Ağdam Industrial Park was established by presidential decree on 28th of May in 2021. It covers totally 190 hectares of area. It is one of the flagship projects in recovery of liberated territories of Azerbaijan. We started there from the scratch, and all territories was clean from the mines, and all the infrastructure was constructed. Today, 32 companies are registered as residents, and 5 companies are registered as non-residents. And the total investment amount till now is $85 million, and its expected investment amount is $185 million, and already created 1,000 jobs, and we are expecting to create more than 2,500 new jobs in the territory of Ağdam Industrial Park. Ağdam Industrial Park offers list of incentive packages to the residents, benefit from 10 years exemptions on income, property and land taxes, also VAT exemption and customs duty exemptions on imported technologies for production purposes. There are additional incentives for the liberated territories of residents, subsidizing of social securities, 20% discount on utility costs, also VAT and customs duty exemptions for the raw materials for production purposes. There are a list of the strategic prioritized sectors in Ağdam Industrial Park: production of construction materials, light industries, agriculture processing, and also for the long-term perspective, we are looking for diversify all the industry sectors to make it rational and to have a more impact on the economic growth of the region and also whole territory of Azerbaijan. Ağdam's strategic location on main transport will make it more attractive for both local and foreign investors for future development. Looking ahead, the opening of the Zengezur corridor, especially connecting the mainland over Zengezur corridor to the Nakhchivan, and the opening to the new markets, Turkey, and over the Turkey going to the broader markets, will increase the opportunity, will enhance industry, and also will have a great impact on social economic development of whole region. Ağdam Industrial Park is not just only industrial zone, having with a list of incentives, location, and also the ready infrastructure. It will be again be the main economic center of the region and will be integrated into global chain.
Strategically positioned just 2 kilometers from the industrial park, the Ağdam railway station and bus terminal complex is the region's most important ground connectivity hub. This modern infrastructure serves both passenger and cargo movement, propelling the economic revival of Karabakh and beyond. With encyclopedic knowledge of the nation's railway system and a deep understanding of its future expansion plans, we have the privilege of hearing the insight of Mr. Bakhtiyar Hacıyev, Head of Public Relations for Azerbaijan Railways.
Ağdam dəmir yol xəttinin
The construction of the Barda-Ağdam line was one of the first major initiatives launched as part of the restoration of the liberated territories, and the building of the Ağdam railway and bus terminal complex was part of this initiative. This line existed during the Soviet period, but decades of occupation left the original infrastructure essentially destroyed, so we basically rebuilt it from scratch. What sets this facility apart is that, for the first time in Azerbaijan, the railway station and bus terminal operate together in a single integrated complex. The Ağdam Railway and Bus Terminal Complex spans 8 hectares and offers everything visitors may need, from cafes and restaurants to shops, comfortable waiting areas with free Wi-Fi, and an information center. Another milestone is that this is Azerbaijan's very first covered railway platform, stretching 350 meters. All previous platforms in the country are open air. The complex is designed so passengers can move easily from the train platform or from inside the station directly to the outdoor bus stops.
Birbaşa avtobus dayanacaqlarına keçid rahat təmin olunub. Həftənin şənbə günləri Bakıdan.
Currently, trains run between Baku and Ağdam on Saturdays, departing Baku in the early morning and Ağdam in the early evening, with tickets including an automatic entry permit to the region. The Baku-Ağdam route calls at Bilajari, Ucar, Laki, Yevlak, Barda, Koçarli, Tezekent and Ağdam, and passengers traveling to Kankendi often take the train to Ağdam, then continue onward by car or bus.
Bu qatarlardan istifadə edir. Nəzərə alaq ki, Ağdam özü
Ağdam lies at the center of Karabakh, making it a strategically vital city. Roads from Ağdam extend toward Kocaeli, Kankendi, Tartar, Akçabadi, and beyond. In fact, nearly all major routes across Karabakh pass through Ağdam, including those to eastern Zangezur. From this perspective, the Ağdam Railway and Bus Terminal Complex serves as a crucial piece of infrastructure, supporting the region's growing connectivity. If we consider that the Azerbaijani section of the Zangezur corridor begins in Horadiz, the Horadiz-Agbend railway line currently under construction by Azerbaijan Railways will form a very important link within the wider transport network across the region once complete. A major industrial zone is already operational in Ağdam, while others are rapidly developing across Karabakh. As business in the region grows, the Barda-Ağdam line will be instrumental in transporting goods from Karabakh's manufacturing enterprises to foreign markets, and the railway does not stop in Ağdam. Construction of the Ağdam-Kankendi line is already underway, extending the route toward Kankendi, where another major railway and bus terminal complex will open by the end of 2026.
Sollarına qədər başa çatdırılması planlaşdırılır. Ümumilikdə biz qeyd eləyək ki, dəmir yolları
Railways are more than just tracks and trains. They are engines of development, bringing growth and opportunity wherever they reach. Several major lines are now being built or restored. The Barda-Ağdam-Kankendi line is under development, while the Horadiz-Agband and Ağdam-Kankendi lines are under construction, with stations planned in Askaran and Kocaeli. These lines are interconnected. The Ağdam line links to Yevlak, which itself branches from the major Yevlak to Boyukesik to Baku railway line. This effectively connects Ağdam to the Baku-Boyukesik route, making it part of an international transport corridor that begins at Port of Baku, passes through Alat to Boyukesik, and continues onward through Georgia, opening access to international markets. Through this link, the Ağdam line becomes a major transport artery with enormous potential. What may appear as a single line on a map carries a far greater mission. It connects local communities, links them to a main line, and opens access to international trade routes. We can say with confidence that a railway is more than transport or commerce. It is a symbol of peace. The first tangible steps toward reconciliation between Azerbaijan and Armenia are already taking shape through railway cooperation. Cargo transit to Armenia via Azerbaijan has already begun. carrying grain as well as petroleum exports. In practice, the railways themselves reveal where peace between nations is becoming real.
Əməldə özünü göstərir və bu da ilk növbədə dəmir yollarında özünü göstərir.
Karabakh is a land where nature has long inspired art, and art, in turn, has always shaped identity. And no art form is more deeply embedded in the Azerbaijani soul than Mugham. In the heart of a city where silence reigned for too many painful decades, Mugham now has a sanctuary worthy of its legacy, the Ağdam Center. The cultural renaissance unfolding in Ağdam is the life's work of remarkable people. We are honored to hear from one of the leaders at the forefront of this transformation and whose outstanding commitment to preserving, promoting, and celebrating Karabakh's rich heritage has been instrumental. Mr. Zavur Hasanov, Director of the Ağdam City Cultural Center.
The Ağdam Mugham Center stands as a contemporary cultural institution dedicated to curating and promoting the art of Mugham. Our main goal is to celebrate and pass on Mugham to future generations. The Ağdam Mugham Center includes this 474-seat concert hall, a 615-seat open-air amphitheater, 15 classrooms, 2 dedicated dance and rehearsal studios, a state-of-the-art cinema, a conference room, a rich library, and a charming cafe overlooking the city. More than just a performance space, we are a fully equipped cultural, educational, and creative hub where every element reflects our heritage. Historically, Ağdam has been home to a rich cultural tradition and one of the main centers of Mugham. The Ağdam Mugham Center carries the responsibility of safeguarding this heritage going beyond being merely a performance and practice venue. The center organizes Mugham classes and workshops, offers both instrumental and vocal lessons, master classes from renowned Mugham masters, and special festivals to discover young talents. We also want to bridge generations of musicians, showcase national talent, and support local performers. By doing that, our mission goes far beyond that of a cultural space. We become an active force in the revival of life in the city. Both classical and contemporary Mugham performances will be hosted here, alongside international festivals and cultural events. This will contribute to restoring Ağdam's role as an important cultural center in the region, bringing together local, national, and international artists, and positioning the city at the forefront of the national cultural landscape. His Excellency is the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, and the First Vice President, Mehriban Aliyeva, attended the inauguration of the Ağdam Mugham Center. In his speech, our Commander-in-Chief outlined the work to be done in the field of culture and his steadfast dedication to nurturing the next generation. Today, the Ağdam Mugham Center embodies this devotion and perpetuates Ağdam's legacy as a cradle of world-renowned figures in art and culture. After a 30-year hiatus, we have returned to celebrate our cultural icons, and we will fulfill the responsibility entrusted to us. May God protect our nation, grant mercy to our martyrs, and give strength and health to our veterans. We will honor their sacrifice through great achievements in Ağdam and across Karabakh.